A bill titled Truth in Labeling Act was introduced by Illinois Representative Janice Schakowsky on December 13, 2023. This bill states that the labels on the front of food packages has the most effect on nutritional decisions that both busy and nutritionally inept consumers rely on the most for sugar, sodium, and saturated fat content in the food items they purchase and consume. The back label is too complex and lengthy to be understood while shopping. This bill adds to United States Code Title 21, Section 343 requires food products that are already required to be labeled for nutritional content to now standardize their front-side nutrition facts in easy-to-understand and universal symbols that show increased levels in sugar, sodium, and saturated fats. They highlight those nutrients as they can lead to the most common nutrition-related diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and high blood pressure. These symbols will be the same across all products in style, size, and meaning. The Secretary of Health and Human Services will be required to confirm the effectiveness of the new requirements. This confirmation will be in the form of reports by the Health and Medicine Division of the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. They will document how well the average consumer can understand the nutritional facts on the front label, that all front labels have the same, uniform symbols on them. Healthier foods are being selected, and if there are any improvements that can be made to these symbols as time goes on. Within 3 years of the requirement being made by the Secretary of Health and Human Services, they will be required to submit a report to Congress if the program has increased the sales of products that contain sweeteners with little to no calories. And how the Secretary will quantify that number if there is an increase in those sales. The same report will be updated within another 3 years after the first. Within 1 year after this bill passes, the Secretary of Health and Human Services will propose their regulations, and implement them within 2 years of this bill passing. Primary impact: I must first address the report, as this seems to be a step in the wrong direction opposed to what the rest of the bill is saying. The use of artificial sweeteners seems to have been put into this bill without any reason. Since this bill addresses sugars, sodium, or salt, and saturated fats, the mention of sweeteners does not fit very well. I pose this question: if the bill is meant to address the health issues created from overconsumption of those 3 nutrients, why is the report not addressing something like the average health status of consumers from low-income/education areas or families? This could be done by capturing data from local urgent care metrics, school district demographics, or purchasing numbers from the sellers of the food. Tracking the sweetener sales will still require at minimum the last action of those 3, but is much easier to sway as many different factors play into purchasing behaviors of consumers. It is much harder to change the long-term eating habits of people and has much less direct and overt inputs than single-item purchases. This next statement is biased from my perspective, so please take it with a grain of salt, pun intended. The report will only serve to provide manufacturing companies that produce these artificial sweeteners with better ways to distribute and sell their product, regardless of the effects to human health on consuming them. This, by itself, is not necessarily a bad thing. From an economic standpoint, making better business decisions as a company benefits the public just as much as it benefits the company. But the intent of the bill is missed, and the changes will be misguided if the end goal is the benefit of a single industry. I cannot say, with 100% confidence, that corruption is at play with this report, but that is the sense I get, personally, from that portion. The next 2 impacts will only consider the changes being proposed by the bill to nutrition labeling. Secondary impact: nutrition plays a vital role in human health. Like any system, bad inputs create bad outputs. I am not a nutritionist, and even professional nutritionists cannot fully agree on everything, but the general consensus is moderation and scaling to calorie requirements. Overall health is also related to nutritional intake. Many of the common diseases we experience directly linked to what we eat regularly. Making better choices of food intake will increase our overall health. On a personal level, we will all lead generally better lives, pending our other personal choices. But our physical health will be better, nonetheless. This new labeling requirement, if implemented effectively and as intended by this bill, will make it easier to quickly identify what food products will provide better nutrition, and when coupled with price tags, we can make better economic choices as well. Tertiary impact. On a more grand scale, the removal of these nutrition-related diseases will help the economy. Medical bills are expensive, and the more people that get sick will only make it more expensive. Not only that, the demand increase for medical attention is a difficult task to keep up with, money aside. If you have ever been in an emergency waiting room for more than 1 hour, which is very likely, the amount of patients being seen at once is likely a key factor to that wait time. Better overall health leads to less medical expenses and needs, leaving more disposable cash for families and individuals to use. Inflation is fought back by eating healthier options. It is not a large change, but small changes are still changes.